Did you know that a restless night after 60 could be quietly stealing more from you than energy the next day? As Dr. Alina Saratia, I have spent years studying healthy aging, and one truth keeps coming back to me. The aging brain does not just need sleep. It needs the right support before sleep. Research shows 6.9 million Americans age 65 and older are living with Alzheimer's in 2024, and that number could reach 13.8 million by 2060. Stay with me because the simple bedtime habit I share today may help support memory, calmer sleep, and better next day focus. Comment below with the age you are now and the one memory change that bothers you most. I will be replying to each one. Many people think memory loss arrives all at once. It usually does not. It often starts like a dripping faucet, a missed name here, a forgotten appointment there, a story you tell twice because you do not remember telling it already. Research shows the CDC found 11.2% of adults age 45 and older reported subjective cognitive decline, and over half of them reported functional limits that affected daily life. Now, this is important. Forgetting sometimes can be normal with age, but trouble managing bills, directions, safety, or familiar tasks deserves medical attention. Here's what happens when sleep gets lighter and more broken. Your brain misses part of its night shift. During deeper sleep, the brain sorts memories, resets signals, and clears waste. Think of it like a housekeeper working after dark. If the housekeeper keeps getting interrupted, clutter stays behind. Studies found a 2024 brain imaging study in 72 older adults linked poorer sleep with weaker glymphatic function. That is the brain's waste-clearing system. The same study linked that poorer function with worse memory. But here's the shocking part most seniors do not know. Poor sleep and poor food choices can push each other in the wrong direction. Research shows a 2025 study in over 64,000 observations of adults age 65 and older found that frequent fruit and vegetable intake was linked with 44% lower odds of cognitive impairment, and it seemed to buffer some harm tied to poor sleep. That does not prove fruit is a cure. It does suggest bedtime nutrition matters more than many people realize. Stay with me because the next part explains why so many smart, active adults feel mentally slower even when they think they are doing everything right. Let me tell you about Elaine. She was 67, recently retired, and proud of how organized she had always been. Then she started losing words in the middle of simple conversations. She blamed stress. She blamed birthdays. She even blamed her hearing. Over several months, the problem spread into her evenings. She felt wired at night, tired in the morning, and embarrassed when she forgot why she walked into a room. Elaine tried crossword, puzzles, stronger coffee, and earlier dinners. None of that fixed the deeper problem. She still woke up 3 or 4 times most nights. By noon, her thinking felt muddy. She stopped driving at night because she felt less confident. She told me the hardest part was not fear, it was shame. She worried her family would notice before she did. Then, she learned that memory often depends on what happens while you sleep, not only what happens while you think. She was skeptical when I suggested changing her late evening eating pattern before touching anything expensive. Still, she agreed to test it for 2 weeks. She traded her random cookies for a small fruit routine built around sleep-friendly choices and steadier blood sugar. Within 14 days, Elaine said she fell asleep faster and woke less often. Within 3 weeks, she told me she could hold on to conversations better the next morning. She was reading again at night without rereading every page. Her improvement was not magic, and it was not a cure. It was a realistic shift that gave her confidence back. Comment night fog if you have felt this too, and tell me your age as well. Before I reveal the 3 fruits, I need to warn you about what can make nighttime brain function worse. Here's what happens when you use the wrong bedtime habits. You feed the very cycle you are trying to escape. The first mistake is alcohol close to bed. Many seniors say a little wine helps them relax. Research shows the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and alcoholism warns that older adults are more sensitive to alcohol's sedating effects, and drinking for sleep can actually make sleep problems worse. Alcohol may knock you out fast, but it often fragments sleep later in the night. But here's the shocking part. It can also mix dangerously with common sleep, anxiety, pain, and blood pressure medicines. Let me tell you about George. He was 74 and liked 2 glasses of wine after dinner because it made him feel sleepy. At first, he thought the habit helped. Then his wife noticed he woke often, snored harder, and seemed more forgetful by morning. When he moved alcohol away from bedtime and later cut it back, he noticed steadier sleep and less morning grogginess within days. Comment: I'm guilty. If bedtime alcohol has been part of your routine, do not worry. You are about to learn how to fix it. The second mistake is refined sugar at night. Here's what happens when dessert sends your blood sugar up fast. Your body pushes insulin out. Then blood sugar can swing down. Those swings may trigger stress hormones that disturb sleep. Research shows Columbia researchers studying more than 50,000 women found that diets higher in refined carbohydrates and added sugars were linked with greater risk of insomnia, while whole fruits and vegetables were linked with lower risk. But here's the shocking part most people miss. Whole fruit does not act like candy because the fiber slows the sugar rush. The third mistake is heavy, fatty, sugary late snacks. Here's what happens when you eat chips, pastries, ice cream, or fried leftovers late. Your body works on digestion when your brain wants repair. Studies found a controlled sleep lab study in 26 adults linked more saturated fat with less slow-wave sleep and linked more sugar with more nighttime arousals. Slow-wave sleep is the deep sleep that helps restore the brain. That means the snack you think comforts you may be silently stealing the very sleep stage your memory needs. Stay with me because now we move into the fruits that help instead of hurt. Number 3 is kiwi fruit. Do you know what happens when you eat 2 kiwis about 1 hour before bed? You give your body a mix of serotonin-related compounds, antioxidants, vitamin C, and fiber that may help sleep quality. Better sleep matters because memory gets filed and strengthened during the night. Research shows a clinical study in adults with sleep problems found that eating 2 kiwi fruit 1 hour before bedtime for 4 weeks reduced sleep onset latency by 35.4%, reduced waking after sleep onset by 28.9%, increased total sleep time by 13.4%, and improved sleep efficiency by 5.4%. Here's what happens next. If you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer, your brain gets a steadier chance to do overnight memory work. Think of kiwi as helping the stage crew prepare the theater before the main performance. It does not force sleep like a drug. It may support the conditions that let sleep happen more smoothly. Studies found a 2023 crossover trial in 24 men showed dried kiwi improved ease of awakening by 24% in poorer sleepers, and both fresh and dried kiwi increased a serotonin metabolite. That does not prove kiwi repairs brain cells by itself. It does support kiwi as a smart sleep fruit. Let me tell you about Martha. She was 72 and said bedtime had become a battle. She felt tired, but her mind would not settle. She kept the television on until she drifted off, then woke up feeling unrefreshed. I asked her to try 2 kiwis 1 hour before bed for 10 nights, without juice and without heavy dessert. She rolled her eyes and laughed. Still, she tried it. By the end of the second week, Martha said her nights felt less jagged. She was not waking in panic at 2 in the morning. She noticed something else too. Her recall during her bridge game improved. She could track the round better. She felt more like herself. If kiwi surprises you, comment kiwi below. The next one will surprise you even more. When you use kiwi, keep it simple. Eat 2 green kiwi fruit about 1 hour before bed. If you have reflux, test an earlier time. If your stomach is sensitive, start with 1. Choose whole fruit, not candy or sweetened puree. Some people like kiwi with a spoon. Others slice it and eat it slowly. Expect early changes in sleep within 1 to 2 weeks if it helps you. Longer term, better sleep may support sharper mornings and better mood. Number 2 is tart cherries. Here's what happens when you use tart cherries in the evening. You take in anthocyanins, which are plant compounds tied to lower inflammation. And you also get a natural source of melatonin. That combination makes tart cherries especially interesting for older adults because they may support both sleep timing and brain-friendly recovery. Research shows a randomized crossover pilot study in 15 older adults with insomnia found tart cherry juice produced modest but significant improvements in insomnia severity and reduced wake after sleep onset compared with placebo. But sleep is not the only reason tart cherries made this list. Studies found a randomized controlled trial in 37 adults aged 65 to 80 showed that drinking 480 milliliters of Montmorency tart cherry juice daily for 12 weeks improved memory contentment, movement time, and paired associates learning. Within the tart cherry group, visual, sustained attention also improved. But here's the shocking part. A fruit better known for pies may support both sleep and some forms of thinking at the same time. That is exactly the kind of overlap I look for in older adults. Let me tell you about Harold. He was 78 and still handled every household bill on paper. Then he began making small mistakes. He misplaced envelopes. He reread instructions. He also woke up in the early morning and could not fall back asleep. His daughter worried he was slipping fast. Harold hated hearing that. He felt angry, more than scared. He did not want supplements. He wanted something simple and food-based. So he tried 4 ounces of pure tart cherry juice diluted with water in the evening, several hours after dinner. He also stopped using whiskey as a nightcap. Within 2 weeks, he felt calmer at bedtime. Within 1 month, he said he was making fewer careless errors when sorting bills. His daughter said his mood softened too. Comment, sleep first, if better sleep is your biggest goal. Use tart cherries carefully. Choose unsweetened tart cherry juice or concentrate, not a sugary cherry drink. A practical bedtime amount is about 4 to 8 ounces of pure tart cherry juice or concentrate diluted in water, taken 30 to 90 minutes before bed. If sugar control matters, speak with your clinician and keep portions modest. Whole frozen tart cherries can also work earlier in the evening. Expect sleep changes first. Cognitive changes, if they come, may take weeks. Before I reveal the number 1 fruit, which of these surprised you most? Comment below. Kiwi, tart cherry, or the mistakes section. Stay with me because number 1 has the strongest direct memory research in older adults. Number 1 is blueberries. Here's what happens when you eat a modest serving of blueberries in the evening. You give your brain anthocyanins and other polyphenols that help fight oxidative stress, support blood flow, and protect communication between brain cells. Blueberries do not work like a switch you flip in one night. They work more like steady maintenance for an aging engine. Research shows a randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled trial in 37 older adults, aged 60 to 75, found that 90 days of freeze-dried blueberry, equal to about 1 cup of fresh berries a day, improved aspects of executive function, including fewer repetition errors and lower switch cost. Research shows Harvard investigators also found that women who ate 2 or more servings of strawberries and blueberries each week delayed memory decline by up to 2.5 years. That was not a bedtime trial, but it strongly supports berries as brain protective foods. Harvard Health highlights berries for memory because of their flavonoids. Now, this is important. I am not claiming blueberries rebuild a damaged brain overnight. I am saying some research suggests they help protect brain cells, lower oxidative stress, and support memory networks over time. Let me tell you about June. She was 69, active, social, and deeply frustrated because she kept repeating herself in conversations with her sister. She slept fairly well, so she thought food could not be the issue. When she started a simple evening routine with a small bowl of blueberries and a few walnuts, she did not notice much the first week. By week 3, she said her morning focus felt cleaner. Within 2 months, she told me she was losing her train of thought less often during volunteer meetings. Blueberries shine because they support many pathways at once. They help reduce oxidative stress, which is the wear and tear that can damage brain cells. They may support blood vessel health, which matters because the brain needs steady oxygen and nutrients. They also fit easily into real life. The best use is 1/2 to 1 cup of fresh or frozen blueberries in the evening, ideally not buried in ice cream. Pair them with a few walnuts or plain yogurt if you tolerate dairy well. The next one will surprise you less now, because the real power comes from combination, not hype. Let me tell you about Peter. He was 81, lived alone, and prided himself on never missing his morning walk. Then his daughter noticed that he called twice in one evening to ask the same question. Peter also admitted that he had started forgetting whether he had taken his pills. That shook him. He did not want a miracle. He wanted a plan. He began using a simple routine. He finished dinner earlier, skipped the pastry he used to eat while watching television, had tart cherry juice first, then kiwi later, and kept blueberries for a small bowl with walnuts on alternate nights. Within 3 weeks, he reported fewer middle-of-the-night awakenings. Within 6 weeks, he said mornings felt less heavy and his pill routine felt easier to track. His daughter noticed he repeated himself less often. Comment: small steps. If you want a routine like Peter's, because small steps done nightly often beat heroic changes done once. Here is what to expect if you try this the smart way. In the first few nights, you may notice nothing. That is normal. In 1 to 2 weeks, some people notice easier sleep onset, fewer awakenings, or a calmer evening appetite. Over several weeks, you may notice steadier mornings, better focus, or less frustration when recalling names and tasks. But here's the shocking part. The win is not only sharper memory. The win is keeping more independence in your daily life. If you take insulin, use blood thinners, follow a kidney diet, or have been told to limit potassium, ask your clinician how these fruits fit your plan. If you notice swelling, reflux, rash, diarrhea, or a clear rise in nighttime blood sugar, adjust the portion and get medical advice. Comment, guide me if you want me to make a follow-up video with a full 7-day evening routine for memory after 60. Stay with me, because the people who do best are often the ones who stay consistent, not the ones who search for perfection. Comment, steady wins, if consistency, not perfection, feels possible for you tonight. Here's what makes this powerful. Kiwi may help sleep quality. Tart cherries may support sleep timing and some aspects of memory. Blueberries may help protect memory pathways with steady use. When you combine them wisely, you support more than one step in the process. You support falling asleep, staying asleep, and protecting the brain during waking hours too. Studies found fruit and vegetable intake seems to soften some of the harm linked to poor sleep in older adults. That means the bedtime plan works best as part of a whole-day rhythm. At breakfast, you might choose plain oatmeal with a half cup of blueberries and a spoon of nuts. That gives you fiber, steady energy, and berry compounds that support vascular health. At lunch, a spinach salad with beans, olive oil, and citrus segments can help you build the nutrient base that your brain uses later. In the evening, you might finish dinner early, then have tart cherry juice or cherries, followed later by kiwi, if sleep is the main problem. Research shows the University of Chicago and Columbia team estimated that reaching 5 cups of fruits and vegetables per day could improve sleep quality by about 16% compared with eating none. Now, this is important. Fruit is not risk-free for every person. If you have diabetes, kidney disease, reflux, swallowing trouble, irritable bowel symptoms, or you take medicines that affect potassium or blood sugar, always consult your healthcare provider if you plan to change your evening eating routine. Kiwi fruit can bother some people with allergy. Tart cherry juice may add sugar, so labels matter. Blueberries are usually gentle, but large servings can still push total sugar too high for some people. Watch for bloating, reflux, bathroom urgency, or nighttime discomfort. Responsible change is always better than rushed change. You now have the knowledge to make bedtime work for your brain instead of against it. Memory changes after 60 are common, but you do not have to accept every slip as your destiny. The simplest place to start is often the last hour or two before sleep. Avoid alcohol, heavy sugary snacks, and greasy late-night foods. Then, test the 3 fruits that may help support sleep and memory in a safer, gentler way. Comment one of 3 things: kiwi tonight, tart cherry first, or blueberries are my pick. If you want more practical brain and healthy aging guidance in plain English, subscribe now and stay close to this channel. In my next video, I will show you the evening drinks that may quietly worsen memory after 60 and the simple swaps I prefer instead. The next one will surprise you. If this video helped you, share it with someone who needs this information. You might change a life by changing a bedtime habit. I'm Dr. Alina Sarathia, and I want you to remember this. Your brain is still listening to what you do tonight. Give it something worth working with.